Welcome to Hong Kong Brief. The content of the briefing includes: large ship banned from Australia after sitting stranded in busy port for months during cyclone season. China stock rally takes breather as traders weigh support steps. Leaked files from Chinese firm show vast international hacking effort. Bill Winters can afford to be more bold. Man Group says China stock rout mirrors 2007 U.S. quant meltdown. Large ship banned from Australia after sitting stranded in busy port for months during cyclone season. ABC. The KMAX Leader, a stranded ship in the port of Gladstone in central Queensland, has been towed back out to sea and banned from re-entering any Australian port for 12 months. The ship had been anchored at the port for almost 4 months due to mechanical issues. The Australian Maritime Safety Authority, AMSA, issued multiple notices to the ship's Greek owner over the past 5 months, but they failed to engage with AMSA and failed to fix the issues. This is the 10th vessel to be banned from Australian ports in the past year. China stock rally takes breather as traders weigh support steps. Bloomberg. Chinese shares were volatile on Thursday as traders assessed the latest measures implemented by Beijing to stabilize the stock market. The benchmark CSI 300 index of onshore shares fluctuated between a 0.6% rise and 0.2% gain after a 7-session advance. The measures include restrictions on equity net sales and a ban on major institutional investors reducing equity holdings at the open and close of each trading day. Leaked files from Chinese firm show vast international hacking effort. Washington Post. A trove of leaked documents has revealed the extent of China's state-linked hacking activities, including large-scale cyber intrusions against foreign governments, companies, and infrastructure. The cache of files, images, and chat logs, posted on GitHub, offers an unprecedented look into the operations of a company that Chinese government agencies hire for mass data collecting. The documents detail contracts to extract foreign data over 8 years and describe targets in at least 20 foreign governments and territories. Cybersecurity experts have deemed the documents credible and believe they are the authentic data of a contractor supporting cyber espionage operations out of China. The documents provide insight into China's national security data gathering industry, where rival firms compete for lucrative government contracts by offering comprehensive access to sensitive information. One spreadsheet listed 80 overseas targets that ISOON hackers appeared to have breached, including 95.2 gigabytes of immigration data from India and a 3 terabytes collection of call logs from South Korea's LGU Plus telecom provider. The Chinese firm also targeted other telecommunications companies in Hong Kong, Kazakhstan, Malaysia, Mongolia, Nepal, and Taiwan. The hackers also attempted to extract information from close diplomatic partners including Pakistan and Cambodia. Bill Winters can afford to be more bold. Reuters breaking views. Standard Chartered CEO, Bill Winters, has yet to win over investors despite achieving the best equity returns in his 9 years as CEO. Winters has cut risky loans, repaired finances, and improved profitability. However, there is growing concern that the recent improvement in the bank's performance may be a peak, as central banks are likely to reduce borrowing costs soon. Winters has 2 main options to boost the stock price: find a buyer for the bank, or reduce costs by cutting subscale businesses in many of the 50 markets where it operates. Man Group says China stock rout mirrors 2007 U.S. quant meltdown. Bloomberg. China's equity rout in January was exacerbated by quantitative funds stampeding to exit positions, similar to the 2007 subprime crisis when such investors suffered an abrupt meltdown that roiled markets. This is according to Man Group Xiang Fong, a portfolio manager at the world's largest publicly listed hedge fund. He said in a note this week that the unwinding of these funds' positions was so massive that it spurred small-cap stocks to underperform by a historic margin. China's intervention to stem the turmoil also caused significant market dislocations, compounding the losses for these funds, according to Fong. China quant quake resembles 2007 US meltdown, Man Group says. Bloomberg. Chinese equity funds' troubled strategies contributed to the massive rout the country's markets experienced recently, according to Man Group's Xiang Fong. The portfolio manager also said that China's intervention to stem the turmoil worsened the losses for the funds. Fong's comments come as Chinese quant funds are increasingly being scrutinized as to whether they are amplifying the stock sell-off in the country. Philippines match daunting for underprepared Hong Kong in FIBA Asia Cup. South China Morning Post. A lack of medical insurance and a string of retirements and injuries has left Hong Kong's understrength basketball squad ill-prepared ahead of their FIBA Asia Cup qualifier against the Philippines. The squad, which includes just 4 of the players that featured at the 2018 Asian Games, were given just 4 training sessions before the qualifier. The Philippines have brought 8 members of the team that finished 24th out of 32 at the 2019 FIBA World Cup to Hong Kong. Asia mixed, Nvidia lifts U.S. futures in late trade, markets wrap. Bloomberg. Equity futures in Asia were mixed after Nvidia Corporation exceeded earnings estimates, boosting the chip stock in after-hours trading. Australian shares were mostly unchanged at the open. Contracts for Japanese benchmarks rose, while those for Hong Kong fell. Futures for the Nasdaq 100 index rallied late Wednesday, spurred on by Nvidia results, after the underlying index closed lower during cash trading. Investors in Asia will be keeping a close eye on chip and AI-related stocks as the earnings were predicted to be a catalyst for market sentiment. Stocks rally on Nvidia results, Japan nears record. Bloomberg. Asian equities and U.S. stock futures have risen as Nvidia announced better-than-expected revenue forecasts. The tech company's shares rose as much as 11% after it predicted first-quarter revenue would hit $24 billion, up from previous estimates of $22 billion. The news was expected to provide a catalyst for global equities, and proved correct. The Nikkei 225 index briefly exceeded its 1989 closing record high, while South Korea and Chinese benchmarks also rose. Rise of fast fashion shine, Temu roils global air cargo industry. Japan Times. Fast fashion e-commerce retailers like Shine and Temu are disrupting the global air cargo industry as they compete for limited air cargo space to meet consumer demand for fast shipping times. These companies primarily ship their products directly from Chinese factories to customers by air in individually addressed packages. The popularity of these retailers is driving up air freight costs from Asian hubs and causing capacity shortages. Shine and Temu alone send nearly 600,000 packages to the U.S. every day, according to a report by the U.S. Congress. Hong Kong University, agency backed by regulators launch emissions tools. South China Morning Post. The Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, GUST, and the Green and Sustainable Finance Cross-Agency Steering Group have launched 2 greenhouse gas emissions calculation and estimation tools to help firms with their sustainability reporting. The tools are available for free on the website of the steering group, which was established in May 2020 to accelerate the growth of green and sustainable finance in Hong Kong. The new tools will enhance the availability and quality of sustainability-related data, thus supporting decarbonization efforts, according to Julia Leung, the CEO of the Securities and Futures Commission. Russia outsmarts Western sanctions, and China is paying attention. Economist. The world is experiencing an unprecedented surge in financial warfare as Western countries impose more stringent sanctions. However, as the West ramps up its sanctions efforts, ways to circumvent them are becoming more sophisticated. Many countries that court Western business but do not adhere to Western principles, such as China, Russia, and the Middle East, are finding ways to continue business despite sanctions. These countries have robust financial systems and are home to some of the world's most important financial hubs. They are able to avoid tensions between the U.S. and China and profit from sitting on the fence. Commodity import bans are one of the measures hindered by these non-aligned countries. For example, while the U.S. has restricted the purchase of Iranian oil, Iran's oil exports are at an all-time high. Many countries are willing to pay more than the $60 a barrel price cap imposed by the West on Russian oil, and Brazil, China, and India have all increased their purchases of Russian oil since Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Third countries facilitate sanctions dodging in two ways: by expanding options for the West's enemies and by facilitating evasion while still using the US dollar. Many third country institutions are more relaxed about scrutiny than their American and European counterparts and conduct more business without touching American shores. Some foreign banks are participating in ruble and yuan-based payment systems, which are efforts by Russia and China to build alternatives to the US dollar. Although these efforts have not yet threatened the dominance of the dollar, they do provide alternatives for countries seeking to evade Western sanctions. Even the toughest sanctions on Russia's war machine are no substitute for military aid. Economist. Sanctions imposed by the US and the EU on Russia have not had the desired effect of weakening the country's economy and its war effort in Ukraine, according to The Economist. Sanctions have been leaky, with global financial and trade flows finding ways around them. Secondary sanctions, targeting foreign entities that do business with Russia, may cause financial disruption in countries such as India, Indonesia, and the UAE, and could weaken America's hold on the global financial system. Financial warfare is not a substitute for direct military aid to Ukraine, the article says. Even China's giants are picking Singapore over Hong Kong. Japan Times. Singapore has overtaken Hong Kong as the preferred choice for companies looking to establish their regional headquarters in Asia, according to a Bloomberg intelligence report. Singapore is currently home to 4,200 multinational firms, compared to just 1,336 in Hong Kong. The report attributes Singapore's popularity to its better relations with the West, its broader talent pool, diversified economy, and tax incentives. It also notes that many Chinese companies are choosing Singapore over Hong Kong in order to hedge geopolitical risks and expand their reach. Well, my dear viewers. It seems we have quite the mix of news today, covering everything from stranded ships to cyber hacking to basketball woes. But fear not, for I am here to guide you through it all with my witty banter and insightful analysis. Let's start with the stranded ship in Australia. The KMAX Leader has finally been towed back out to sea after sitting in the port of Gladstone for a whopping 4 months. Talk about a long vacation. But unfortunately for the ship's Greek owner, they have been banned from re-entering any Australian port for a whole year. Ouch. Looks like someone won't be enjoying any Aussie Barbies anytime soon. Moving on to China, where the stock market is causing some headaches. Traders are trying to make sense of the latest measures implemented by Beijing to stabilize the market. It's like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube blindfolded. But fear not, my friends, for I have a prediction. The market will continue to be volatile, just like my ex's mood swings. So buckle up and hold on tight. Now, let's talk about those leaked files from a Chinese firm. It seems China has been quite the naughty hacker, with leaked documents revealing their extensive cyber intrusions against foreign governments, companies, and infrastructure. Talk about a high-tech spy thriller. And it's not just small potatoes, my friends. We're talking about contracts to extract foreign data over 8 years and targets in at least 20 foreign governments and territories. Looks like China has been busy playing with their cyber toys. In other news, Standard Chartered CEO, Bill Winters, is having a tough time winning over investors. Despite achieving the bank's best equity returns in 9 years, there's growing concern that this may be a peak. It's like trying to impress your in-laws at Thanksgiving dinner. No matter what you do, it's never enough. Winters has 2 options to boost the stock price: find a buyer for the bank or cut costs by getting rid of subscale businesses. The eternal struggle of the CEO. And speaking of struggles, China's recent stock rout is being compared to the 2007 US quant meltdown. According to Man Group, quantitative funds stampeding to exit positions exacerbated the rout, just like a stampede of shoppers on Black Friday. The unwinding of these funds' positions caused small-cap stocks to underperform by a historic margin. It's like a bad déjà vu for investors. China's intervention to stem the turmoil only made things worse, like throwing gasoline on a fire. So let's hope this doesn't turn into a full-blown financial inferno. Now, let's shift our focus to the world of sports. Hong Kong's basketball squad is facing a daunting challenge against the Philippines in the FIBA Asia Cup qualifier. With a lack of medical insurance and a string of retirements and injuries, the understrength squad is ill-prepared for the match. It's like sending a kid to fight a heavyweight boxer, not a fair fight, my friends. But hey, sometimes the underdog surprises us all. So let's keep our fingers crossed for Hong Kong. And on a more positive note, Nvidia's better-than-expected revenue forecasts have sent Asian equities and US stock futures soaring. It's like finding a pot of gold at the end of a rainbow. The tech company's shares rose as much as 11% after predicting higher first-quarter revenue. This news was expected to provide a catalyst for global equities, and boy, did it deliver. So let's ride this wave of optimism, my friends, and hope it doesn't crash on the shores of reality. Now, let's talk about the global air cargo industry. Fast fashion e-commerce retailers like Shein and Temu are causing quite the disruption. They're like the kids in class who always cause a ruckus. These companies are competing for limited air cargo space to meet the demand for fast shipping times. It's like a race against time. But their popularity is driving up air freight costs and causing capacity shortages. So next time you order that trendy outfit online, remember the chaos it causes. Moving on to Hong Kong, the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology and the Green and Sustainable Finance Cross-Agency Steering Group have launched greenhouse gas emissions calculation tools. It's like giving companies a GPS for their carbon footprint. These tools will enhance the availability and quality of sustainability-related data, supporting decarbonization efforts. So let's give a round of applause to Hong Kong for taking a step towards a greener future. Now, let's talk about financial warfare and the rise of countries finding ways to circumvent Western sanctions. Russia, China, and the Middle East are becoming more sophisticated in their efforts to continue business despite the sanctions. It's like a game of cat and mouse, with the West trying to tighten the noose and these countries slipping through the cracks. They have robust financial systems and are finding alternatives to the US dollar. It's like building a secret hideout while the superheroes are distracted. And speaking of sanctions, they're not having the desired effect on Russia's economy and its war effort in Ukraine. The Economist argues that financial warfare is not a substitute for direct military aid. It's like trying to fight a tank with a water gun. Sanctions have been leaky, with global financial and trade flows finding ways around them. It's like trying to plug a leaky boat with a bucket. So maybe it's time to rethink our strategies, my friends. Lastly, Singapore has overtaken Hong Kong as the preferred choice for companies looking to establish their regional headquarters in Asia. It's like a game of musical chairs, and Singapore has snagged the coveted seat. The city-state is home to more multinational firms than Hong Kong, thanks to its better relations with the West, broader talent pool, diversified economy, and tax incentives. Looks like Singapore is winning the race to become Asia's business hub. Well, my dear viewers, that's all the news I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed my witty banter and insightful analysis. Now it's your turn to join the discussion. What are your thoughts on these news stories? Do you have any burning questions for me? Let's hear what you have to say. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.